Hi, this is your professor, Judy Paparazzi, and I am beginning to grade the first North Korea summaries that have come in. I know that there are 3 due this week, but that's because I moved the due date for North Korea from last Friday, May 29th, to this week, so that gives you plenty of time to get the one on North Korea done. And I'm going to give you a lot of feedback on the first 2, North Korea and the Ukraine. And after that, I will just give comments, but I won't be editing your work extensively. And I just wanted to go over these steps real quickly with you so that you're not watching another long video. First and foremost, you must use the template. Okay? It's attached to your syllabus. It's posted, and 2 of you or 3 of you, or 2 of you didn't fill in the template. You wrote an essay. I don't want an essay. I want a summary based on the template. The reason I'm doing this is I'm teaching you how to read and summarize a government report on the topic of human trafficking. If you're going into any kind of government work, which a lot of people in criminal justice are going into, this is a really good skill to have. Plus, I'm going to teach you how to summarize something by the feedback I give you. So first and foremost, you must use the template. So let's go over the template. First of all, you're going to get the tier ranking. And you do that by going to the Trafficking in Persons report, and the links are on there, so that you go to the Trafficking in Persons report for 2019. The 2020 report's just about to come out. We may actually switch to that during the semester. Okay, and you tell me the tier ranking. But I've made it easy. I also include the tier placement list. So North Korea is down here under a tier 3, which is the worst one. Now, what does a tier mean? Well, I give you this document. How to write up a tier ranking from the Trafficking in Persons report. So I tell you what a tier 3 means. It means it's a country whose government does not fully comply with minimum standards and is not making significant efforts to do so, the minimum standards set by the Trafficking in Persons report. But I make it even easier. See the word example there? See the word example even if it's backwards? I write it for you. So the North Korea one's already written. North Korea is ranked as a tier 3 country, which is a country whose government does not fully comply with the minimum standards and is not making significant efforts to do so. Copy and paste that example. So once you've gone back to your template and you've checked off tier 3 for North Korea, you just copy and paste it right under the first one. Reasons for tier placement, and please explain using the example I give you. So that's all you have to put there. You don't have to do anything else unless you want to, which you can when you read the Trafficking in Persons report. It has more information, but you don't need to do it to get a higher grade. Copy and paste it right in there. So from this document on how to write up a tier report, which I've given you, copy the example. North Korea is ranked as. That's all you have to do. The next one says, is it a source, destination, or transit country, and please explain. A source country is where victims are taken from to another country. So North Korea is a source country for China, okay? So yes, victims are found in North Korea who are taken to China. A transit country is usually kind of more in Europe or in Africa, and it's a country that victims are taken through to get to another country. So for example, victims are taken through the United States to get to Canada. That would be an example. It's not a great example, but it's true. But a better example is victims are taken through the Ukraine to get to France. Okay, so a transit country is kind of rare and not as important as source and destination. Now, a destination country is truly super important. So source, transit, or destination country. A destination country is victims are brought from one place to another. A perfect example of that is victims are taken from Mexico into the United States. So United States is a destination country, okay? So a destination country is where victims are brought to. A source country is where victims are brought from, and a transit country is one that victims are brought through. And they're not as common as you think, the transit countries, but they can happen, especially in countries like continents like Europe, where there's a lot of countries. So more than likely than not, you're going to not find a lot of transit countries, but you will find a lot of source countries and destination countries, okay? So you just explain why. Why is North Korea a source country? Because North Korea victimizes its people, and they're taken to a second country, which in this case is China. Okay? Then the next question is prosecution, then protection, then prevention and recommendations, right from the Trafficking in Persons report. So prosecution, anybody being prosecuted? Is the government doing anything to prosecute people? If so, explain who's being prosecuted, how many, etc. Protection, are the laws or are there organizations that are actually protecting victims in your country? Okay? Explain, don't forget to explain. So tell me what the facts are and then explain your facts. The next one is prevention. Are there billboards? Are there public service announcements? Are there anything to prevent human trafficking? Are there videos playing on television? Are there movies being made? Are there movie stars trying to prevent it by talking about human trafficking on TV? Okay, that's prevention. It's right in the Trafficking in Persons report. And the last one is recommendations. Now in the recommendations, I don't want you to write enable, pass new laws, whatever. Those are commands. Pass new laws, enable legislation, direct the police, train the police. No, start every sentence with North Korea should pass laws. North Korea should train its law enforcement. Okay? And that's how you do a tip report. Now remember, one country, its pronoun is it, not their. So North Korea has its problem, its citizens involved in trafficking or whatever, not their. And secondly, NGO is non-governmental organization, and there's no apostrophe. So N, capital G, capital O, S. And that's it. So use the template. If I told you you didn't use, where is your template, please redo your report and upload it. You can upload it again into the gradebook. And try to get these in during the week so I can give you a lot of feedback before the next two are due, which is on Friday. Thanks, and welcome again to Human Trafficking.